And I didn't know for a couple of months that my father had passed away. I innocently Googled his name on the internet a couple of months after he had passed away. And when I opened the hit that had come up on the internet, it was from our local newspaper. And when I opened it, what it was my father's obituary. And that was devastating to me. To spend 10 years of my life looking for him, have the joy and the hope knowing that we were living in the same city, and then to find out that he was gone. I couldn't understand how that could happen or why that would happen. And it was again one of those moments in my life where I was speaking to God, and God spoke so clearly back to me that night. He said, Melissa, this may not have been what you had planned. But be patient, because my plan is much greater than anything you could imagine. And it was true, because as the months unfolded, I got to see what God's plan had been all those years. Even though my mother's family had known about the abortion and about my survival and the adoption plan that was made for me, what I didn't know is that my father's family didn't know anything. And it wasn't until he passed away and they found the letter that I had sent him that they found out the truth. I had sent that letter to my father to his office purposely, hoping to protect him, never knowing if he had told people in his life about what had happened. What I didn't know is that that was all part of God's plan. Because when my father passed away, his family went to clean out his office and they found the letter that I had sent him. He had read it, and he had kept it tucked away in his top desk drawer. And so after he passed away, that's what they found there. And certainly it devastated them, reeling from the loss of my father and then finding out this great secret my father had kept his entire life. Looking back on it now, they can realize what things meant in the past. About the time that I was aborted and I survived, my father had mentioned to his younger brothers that he had done something that he was so deeply ashamed of, that he would never tell another person about. And he made good on that promise. Because we can gather that that great secret was that I had been aborted and I survived. And he never did anything about it. He never spoke up. He never spoke out about what he had experienced in his life. And I truly believe that's my father's lasting legacy to this world. I may grieve his loss greatly, but I take great joy in knowing that my father, in his passing, has given a gift to the world to share with men, to say, men are affected by abortion too. And men need to be able to stand up, to speak out on behalf of the unborn, and to speak about the pain that they've experienced in their lives, no matter how they've been impacted. And so it was right at the end of my pregnancy that I found out about my father's passing. And about that same time, our daughter came into this world. Olivia was born on April 26th of 2008, at the very same hospital where my life was supposed to end. On August 29th of 1977, St. Luke's Hospital in Sioux City, Iowa, is where I survived and I was left to die. But on April 26th of 2008, St. Luke's Hospital in Sioux City, Iowa, is the hospital where Olivia's life on this earth began. And it's a miracle indeed that she was born at that hospital. But I will tell you what a gift it was for her to be born there. To have that hospital that had been so full of pain for me now be full of the greatest memories of my life. I am blessed. I am so blessed. And it wasn't long after Olivia was born at that hospital that my father's family found me. I had been looking for them and they had been looking for me in those months, and they watched the paper and they knew when Olivia was born, and his family reached out to me. The first person I heard from was my great aunt. So she's my grandmother's youngest sister on my dad's side. And not long after I met her, I met my grandfather. You know, this wasn't the plan that I had for my life. But I'm really thankful for the gift of my family. You know, I get to see my grandfather on a regular basis. He comes over every couple of weeks when he has the chance. My grandfather's 84 years old. I get to see my great aunt quite regularly. You know, but it's really sad for me. I have about 20 family members, including my own grandmother, my father's wife, my own sister, cousins, aunts, and uncles that all live in the same city. And after 4 years of knowing about me, the only two who have been open to having me in their life are my great aunt and my grandfather. And people say to me a lot, you know, Melissa, don't you think it's the fact that you're so open about what happened in your life, that you speak so openly about abortion, that that's what's so hard for them? And I can imagine that it's very difficult for them. All of this is very new for them. You know, I've spent 20 years of my life being able to heal from what happened. But I also hear from them and know that it's that abortion almost 35 years ago that has caused them so much pain and continues to cause them that much pain. You know, my grandparents have made it clear they would have adopted me if only they had been given the opportunity. You know, I have to sit and watch the tears roll down my grandfather and my great aunt's face when they talk about how guilty they feel, that they didn't know, that they couldn't do anything to step in to save my life. You know, there's great joy that comes in knowing that I lived, but the aftermath of that abortion is huge. And after Olivia was born, you know, I was able to put all of the puzzle pieces of my life together and to truly recognize that that one abortion, my mother's abortion, almost 35 years ago, has had a huge ripple effect, not just on my life, but on all of our lives, and not just all of my family's life, but truly the lives of all of us in this world. And I was holding Olivia one night. She was just a couple of weeks old. And I got the message so clearly that one decision, one single moment, can have such a detrimental impact on so many people, living and dead, born and yet to be conceived. That's the reality of abortion in my life. I have to look at my daughter every day and know that she never would have lived if that abortion would have succeeded in ending my life. And I will tell you, as a mother, that is the most painful thing I have to experience. And that someday she's going to know the full truth, that she never would have come into this world. And this is now what I dedicate my time to. You know, I have moved away from the life that I had for myself with my master's degree in social work and doing what I wanted to do, to doing what I know that I'm called to do. And that is putting a face to abortion. And that is talking to the world about the intergenerational impact of every abortion, because that's what my family lives with every day. And I now travel the world. I've traveled as far away as Australia, working with individuals and organizations. I travel all across the United States and Canada. I have a new ministry called the Abortion Survivors Network. And through that network, what I am attempting to do is connect other survivors, because I spent over 5 years of my life thinking that I was the only one and feeling so ashamed, so embarrassed, believing what the world out there said about children like me. And I didn't think there was anybody else who could relate to what it's like. And then I found Gianna Jessen. And that changed my life because I knew that I was not alone. And so my Survivors Network is my opportunity to connect abortion survivors together. And I know of about 40 survivors right now all around the world personally. But I know, based on statistics from the Centers for Disease Control on the failure rate of late-term abortions, I know that there are at least minimally 44,000 other survivors in the United States alone. And so through that Survivors Network, I am attempting to help survivors connect with one another and find an opportunity to heal and use their voice in whatever capacity they so see fit. You know, I know not everybody is supposed to do what I do. I know this is the calling that I was given. But through that network, I want people to be able to have support and have the opportunity to heal. And through the Survivors Network, I'm also wanting to educate the public, to let people know that there are far more lives like mine, and give people the opportunity to become educated about it. And so this is now what I've dedicated my life for. And as much as I struggled in the early years with knowing the truth about what happened to me, you know, I can honestly tell you, I wouldn't be anybody else. Yes, I wish the circumstances of my life were different. But all in all, they've made me who I am today. And I am just thankful for the opportunity to live this life.